Hi everyone, welcome to today's word of the day or sound of the day. Since we had such positive responses to our last one of our previous episodes describing phonemes, especially differences in Eastern and Western Armenian in terms of pronunciation, we decided to continue. So last time we did velar stops, g, g, k. This time we'll do alveolar stops, d, d, t. So alveolar stops because your tongue touches your alveolar ridge when you pronounce them. They're like the T sounds, yeah? So in the Armenian alphabet, we have three T's, or three T sounds, d, d, t. And to kind of convey the sounds, d is like an English T sound, but it's voiceless and not aspirated. So think of the word stop, yeah, or start. It's that T sound. D is equivalent to your English D sound, and T is equivalent to the English T sound. And I'm going to put this this apostrophe to show aspiration. Aspiration is just a fancy word for a puff of air coming out. So if you were to put your hand in front of your mouth and say T, you should feel a puff of air, yeah? And D is voiced, meaning your vocal cords vibrate when you make the sound, D. And Th is the voiceless partner of this triad. So in classical Armenian and in modern Eastern Armenian, we have three letters and we have three corresponding sounds. So you have D, you have D, you have T. So when you see D, you make this sound. So D is D. When you see D, you make this sound, D. And when you see T, you make the aspirated T sound. So the triad remains a triad. Now in Western Armenian, just like we saw in the case of g, g, k, you have three letters which are reduced to two sounds. So the voiceless d is pronounced as a voiced d. The voiced d is pronounced as an aspirated t, and the aspirated t is also pronounced as an aspirated t. So once again, in Eastern Armenian, similar to classical Armenian, you have three graphemes, three letters, which correspond with three sounds. In Western Armenian, you have the same three letters, but they correspond to two sounds. So the voiceless is pronounced as the voiced is pronounced as the aspirated, and the aspirated is also pronounced as the aspirated. So if we take, for example, three words, right? Duj, duj, and tuj. So tud in Armenian is the imperative of to give, right? An Eastern Armenian speaker would pronounce this as tuj. So let me transliterate. A Western Armenian speaker would pronounce it as duj. Dud, which is the root in durekan, durgal, right, to be pleasing. So an Eastern Armenian speaker would pronounce this as dud. A Western Armenian speaker would pronounce it as tud. And then tud, which means sword, an Eastern Armenian would pronounce as tud, a Western Armenian would pronounce as tud. So for this third in the triad, the pronunciation is the same. For the first two, they're kind of 1 degree different, yeah? So, and this in no way reflects anything kind of specific. I know we got questions about, well, how come Western Armenian lost one of its sounds? Phonetic changes are very natural in languages, right? And that no way reflects any kind of a deficiency or a deviation. It's just a kind of alternative development. So we'll keep going with these series and introduce you to more triads and differences if there are any.